Now, obviously, you were up close and personal with Rory. We were all watching from our couches, and I could personally sense how confident he seemed on the golf course. But when you were speaking with him up close and personal, just how confident did he seem after the great victory?
Yeah, I think he feels that there's a lot of things working well all at the same time, Adam. Bob and yourself and I have spoke a little bit about the swing changes in the offseason. They were subtle. They're not, overhauls, but just working on that takeaway a little bit, a few little items. Didn't take long for those to feel normal, played, well so far overseas. And now PGA Tour debut a week ago, goes to a new golf ball. I know you love this story that we start laughing because to ourselves, because we, in our minds, picture Rory McIlroy hanging out at the Kingdom for 4 days, testing things. It's not how it works. He said, I really didn't play around with the 2024, 2025 TP5 and TP5X. I just kind of stuck with what I knew. And then all of a sudden goes to the other golf ball, loves the way it performs, especially loved the flight that he could get it down. And boy, did that not mean something on Saturday to shoot 65, Adam, on that golf course on Saturday. When we look back and start talking about rounds of the year, last year on the West Coast swing, I think the 62 from Hideki at Riviera was the round of the year. Right now, a bogey-free 65 for McIlroy in that weather yesterday was unbelievable, and it continued again on Sunday. It was absolutely tremendous. When he's firing on cylinders in full flight, he is tough to beat. He is right up there, if not the best. When he's in full flight, it's very special. And I have a question for you, Adam, because I've always said that if Rory is kind of playing like he really doesn't think it changes his legacy much, and it's not going to look at the way, maybe history doesn't look at him very differently because of it, he's likely to win. It's those situations like we saw at the U.S. Open last year where the weight of the elephant in the room and the history surrounding it, he has a problem. He was open this week. He wanted to be a winner at Pebble Beach. He wants to join Woods, wants to join Nicklaus, wants to join Watson. He knows this is an iconic place. This meant something to him. That should encourage us, no, if you're a Rory fan.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Mark, because during our year in review special last year, you said Rory McIlroy would win the FedEx Cup, but he wouldn't win a major championship. Now, that was obviously early on in this new very minor swing change, and that swing change, it certainly paid off in a big way. Anyway, in my mind, it looked like he was hitting more of a cut off the tee with the driver. He hit many more fairways. He was still bombing it off the tee. But I think this is a good sign all around for Rory as he heads into the major championships to try to freewheel. Because if he doesn't freewheel, if he's so in his head like he's been at the Masters in the past, well, he's not going to win a major championship this year, Mark. So my question to you, has your opinion changed? Will Rory win a major in 2025?
It's softened.
Ooh.
It hasn't changed. It's softened. And the only reason I say it's softened is obviously a brilliant performance. But I believe that he really wanted this one. And that's where I feel Rory struggles. When he starts to want it too bad, he gets yippy. I hate to use the word, but we've seen it. He gets yippy. He makes poor decisions. We saw it at the 15th hole, the par 3 at Pinehurst, coming down the stretch. Poor club selection. Driver off the tee on the 72nd hole at Pinehurst. Wrong club. Poor decision making. I think he wanted this one. I really do. Playing alongside his buddy Shane Lowry, you want to perform well. You want to beat your friend. If you can't win, you want your friend to win, but you want to beat your buddy. You don't want to give those bragging rights to your fellow Irishman. I have definitely softened, Adam. I'm still not on him for Augusta. I know it was either you or Bob or both of you may have liked him at Augusta. I can't recall. I just think that elephant in the room is just too big for almost anybody right now. I mean, that's the size of an elephant that, similar to the one that Nick Taylor and the Canadians carried around for so long until Nick ended it at Oakdale. This is huge. This is Rory McIlroy wins at Augusta. You got to make room on Mount Rushmore for another face, right? A career Grand Slam. I That one's tough, but I have softened on the other three, Skulls. I have
Okay.
softened on the other three.
Okay, yeah, I'm really curious to see how Rory McIlroy plays here as we move forward. But a lot of people are talking, and you saw it right there, the 14th hole, the par five, the line he took off the tee with driver and then hitting 7-iron from 201. Walk us through your own personal emotions when you saw A, the line he took, B, the recoil he had, and C, where the ball landed in the fairway.
My initial reaction was, I only know one other person that would take that line, Adam Scully. That was
There
the
we go.
first
I hope you're saying that.
reaction I had. It's funny. Let me take you back 24 hours before we talk about the 7-iron on Sunday, because he made a big mistake. And I say big mistake. It resulted in a par, but it was a mistake on 14 the day before. And to be the best driver of the golf ball in the world, it doesn't help if you don't take advantage of it, right? He had 241 uphill on Saturday with a little help behind him off the right. So 241 with 10 to 15 up, that's call it 255, 253. Little help, let's back off another 7 or so. I had it playing at 244. He tried to hit 6-iron on Saturday. It barely made the greenside bunker, left himself a very awkward third, unable to get up and down. And I walked off that green just shaking my head. So now fast forward to Sunday, the line he takes over the corner is ridiculous. I mean, no one stands on that tee and basically aims it almost in people's backyards that guard the right side of that dog leg. Covers the corner by 40 to 50 yards. I mean, it's not even close. The corner was never in question. And now 201 uphill. Again, same math, right? We're kind of 15 up, call it 215. There's about 7 help. We're now 208. And this time, moonshot 7-iron that lands like a pitching wedge, Adam. That thing came in from the top of the condominium. That was the 40th floor, the 50th floor, straight down. And then the fact then that you pay it off with a 28-footer that bleeds into the heart above the hole, putting back down towards the Pacific Ocean. Those putts that you roll, and you've played the golf course, when you putt towards the water on the West Coast and you're not aware of it, especially on POA late in the day, you can look silly. I mean, good players can look like they're at a loss. For him to roll that in and pay it off, not only did he get 2 shots there, in my mind, he kind of got one back from Saturday when he blew it there with the 6-iron. But yeah, again, he's the best driver of the golf ball in the world. We know that, okay? He can hit his irons as high as anybody else, and that's the signature of all the best of their generation. Woods, Nicklaus, Jason Day, when he was number 1 in the world, no one hit it higher with the long irons. We know Rory's right there. The thing that separates Rory from Scotty Scheffler is not physical. It's mental, it's emotional. Scotty Scheffler is just another day at the office, and often just passing things off to his faith. How often have you and I heard, well, I've put in the work, I've done everything I could do, it's in God's hands now. The ability to feel that way, think that way, perform that way, versus Rory looking like he's carrying around the world on his shoulders sometimes, that's the difference. Today, Sunday at Pebble Beach, you saw what it looks like, to use your words, when Rory is just playing freewheeling it, when he is playing with psychological and emotional freedom. He kind of just blows the field away.
He certainly does. It was so much fun to watch on Sunday. And Mark, one final thought on Rory before we go to break. I want to ask you about the new golf swing, because from what I thought anyway, his wedges looked so much better. We've seen in the past shutting the club face, hitting these wedges 40, 50 feet long left. But if he was missing his wedges this time around, Mark, it seemed like it was short of the hole or he was pinned high. He looked way better with his wedges. What do you think?
1,000%, Adam. The two things I noticed, and you're bang on, it looked to me like he had more width, more space in his golf swing. Sometimes with Rory, because he's such a 2-plane guy, and he gets it underneath the plane and then uses the ground. No one uses the ground better than Rory. But sometimes when that timing's off, it gets too far underneath, it gets stuck. I saw the golf club more in front of him, more width and freedom. That's really going to help him through the bag. And you're right. His off-speed pitch this week, unbelievable. Those little wedges, soft irons. Yeah, I can get 9-iron there, but give me my 7-iron. That is a version of Rory I love. Keep that 9-iron in the bag. Give me the off-speed 7. Lands hole high, stays there. Doesn't spin back, keeps it under the breeze. It was a treat. Let's hope he keeps it going. The game is more fun, and the game of golf's healthier and more interesting when Rory's winning and playing great.
Rory McIlroy, the winner at Pebble Beach, the 8th straight PGA Tour season where Rory McIlroy has a victory.